Hey everyone, Finity from Reality Skewed Gamers here, and I am here to go over with you the changes to Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. Now, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder is a pretty good Rebel tank that really hasn't gotten a lot of shine. Now, because his kit is related to Rogue One hasn't really been a meta team, but he is a character that had a pretty decent kit that allowed for people to kind of have fun with using him on different teams. However, a recent change in Galaxy of Heroes has caused a change to Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, so we're going to go over those changes and talk about whether or not we think it's a nerf or a boost. So let's start off with the basics of what Scarif Rebel Pathfinder had and why CG changed it. The main reason for the change, of course, is because of the recent release of Mon Mothma into the game and her leader ability. Now, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder's basic ability used to be that when he deals physical damage to a target enemy, he had a 70% chance to gain offense up, but the other part, all other allies gain 15% turn meter. Now, what happens with Mon Mothma is Mon Mothma effectively creates Rebel Fighter synergy similar to the Geonosians. So when a Rebel Fighter attacks, all the other Rebels swarm, meaning that Scarif Rebel Pathfinder would be using his basic. By allowing his basic to be utilized this much, this is going to cause 15% turn meter gain every single time to all of the other Rebel allies, and it could create a potential infinite loop. So, because of that, CG went ahead and changed Scarif Rebel Pathfinder's ability to try and make it so that this infinite loop doesn't happen. Now, I do understand the reason why, because nobody wants infinite loops into the game except for players that are wanting to have fun, but for balance reasons, it is not a good thing. So they modified his kit and changed it up to now where it is that you can deal basic damage to an enemy, you gain 100% chance to gain offense up for 2 turns, and now you grant accuracy up for 2 turns to a random ally that does not have it. So there's a good and a bad to all of this, and the first part is that now Scarif Rebel Pathfinder does have a 100% chance to gain a buff. Now, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder does need a buff in order to get his res to trigger if he is killed. So now, with this constant offense up that is landing, it's no longer a 70% chance, he is going to be able to constantly res. However, the accuracy up is a very unneeded boost in this game right now. It is kind of a throwaway buff at this point. The whole evasion meta has been thrown to the wayside by so many abilities that cannot be evaded, especially amongst the meta teams, and so accuracy up is not really that good. In addition, it is now to a random ally that does not have it. It is not a boost to something entirely of the team. So, the one thing we can say here is that there is a little bit of a boost to Scarif Rebel Pathfinder in that he now gains a 100% chance for offense up, but that turn meter gain versus the accuracy up is a huge nerf to his kit. Could there have been something else that CG could have done? Probably. They might have been able to tune down the 15% turn meter basic down to maybe a 10% or an 8%, something to maybe balance it out where you don't get that infinite loop, but you do get the benefits of Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. Let's not forget that Geo Soldier has something similar where in his unique, he gains 25% turn meter every time he crits. So Scarif Rebel Pathfinder could have been the engine for this team under Mon Mothma in the same regard. Now, is 15% turn meter on the basic just guaranteed a little bit too high? Probably. The Geo Soldier requires 25% on a crit. Something similar could have been done that made Scarif Rebel Pathfinder the engine for this team without completely destroying his ability to do so. But now, with the accuracy up being kind of a pretty useless buff right now in the game, to be frank, and now with the 100% offense up, which is nice, he is definitely getting a major nerf. I think CG could have gone about this a better way, similar to the way that they changed some of the other kits in the past to try and retain the balance, such as Night Sister Acolyte. Something like that where the kit was retained, tried to balance it out. They could have reduced the turn meter, but CG went about it and just straight up nerfed it. So unfortunately, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder is not a great character to invest in. He is not going to be that useful on the Mon Mothma team. He is not needed for any of the legendary characters or anything, because if you need a rebel for Emperor Palpatine, there are much better ones to go for besides Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. You may want him for the Biston's U-Wing ship, but even then, the Home 1 team is not as dominant as it used to be, so going after that team may be a little bit too late. So overall, a little bit of disappointment with the Scarif Rebel Pathfinder nerf. I understand why they did it, in the fact that they had to try and prevent the infinite loop. I think they could have gone a better way for it. So for those of you that have invested in Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, you are getting a refund of all of your basic mats, which include a few Omegas. Hopefully CG does realize that this is not a good way to change the kit, and they do come back with maybe a little bit of a change where they now give turn meter, but to a lesser extent. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you guys do understand the Scarif Rebel Pathfinder update, and if you guys don't, make sure you hit the subscribe, check out some of our other videos, and head on to our Discord to ask any other questions that you may have. And on that note, I am Infinity with Reality Skewed Gamers. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye guys.